God damn it. I don't know if I can survive this intro. I'm dying already. Here, we'll put this on.
Just made the mistake.
Oh, God damn it. Hey, everybody, guys. It's Kieran and Jer here. And I'm just going to warn you right off the bat. I'm dying. I'm on day 3 of COVID. The only reason I'm on here is because Sean said, Kieran, if you don't get on here, I'm going to make Jer host the show. And I knew I couldn't subject you guys to such a goddamn mess.
I got to carry another show, don't I?
Yeah, I'm just going to have to carry you through another show, carry you through another match here. Welcome in, guys, to Fandom Empire. We're going to do a little bit of a Halloween Ends thing, and then we're going to get into a lot of wrestling today. So I hope you guys enjoy. It's going to be a short show. We're only going to go to, about 45 minutes or so, because after that, I'll probably be, down in some Benylin and trying to faint to sleep. So, while I drink some Canada Dry, how's it doing there, Jer?
It's going pretty good. Set some time aside to discuss a fantastic episode of Dynamite tonight that and Tony Khan talked about it earlier today, saying like this show is going to be one of the greatest episodes of Dynamite ever, and I'd say he delivered. So I was pleased with it, and we got a full card for Sunday, so almost. I mean, we're missing one trios team, but we'll get that in 48 hours.
Yeah, this is true. Before we get into that, though, I want to really quickly go over this. So, just so we can knock the Halloween stuff out of the way. Otherwise, we're just going to keep trailing into wrestling. I know we will. Just like any time we hang out together, it's just...
Michael Myers, who'd he ever beat?
Well, I mean, I know Jason's beaten several people. There's been several weird iterations of Jason in the wrestling.
Well, his finishing move is to wrap him in a sleeping bag and hit him with a tree.
Wasn't like Kane and Psycho Sid both wore a Jason mask at one point, right?
Yes, Lord Humongous in Continental in '88. There was
so I guess that's kind of a Mad Max thing, but.
Oh yeah.
But either way, anyway. All right, so we have there's been, guess what? A leak in the Halloween Ends world.
Yeah, the director
you
took
don't
a
say.
piss.
Sorry?
The director took a piss.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like he's letting everything out. So tomorrow we're going to be getting the release of the soundtrack. But a lot of people have kind of early heard the soundtrack. And we just wanted to review the opening Halloween theme. Took a look at it, took a listen at it. I guess I didn't really look at very much, but took a listen at it, and just kind of like the first things that came to me when I listened to this opening title track, of course, the famous Halloween music, is that it comes in very techno-y, which is kind of, I mean, it's not absolutely not, unheard of for this song, many times we had it remixed, but it's like got an extra little dancey beat to it. But then it slowly goes into like almost like a operatic type of vibe to it. And then even later, a lot gets taken away. So you just hear the end of it. So if you guys are out there, you could probably find it. Who knows where? Or you could just wait till tomorrow, because I don't know if they plan to release it tomorrow or if it just leaked and they're like, oh yeah, we're planning on releasing that tomorrow, so it's not a big deal. Jared, what did you think of the this iteration of the Halloween theme?
The iconic I liked it. Theme. It was. I mean, it's a Halloween theme first off, so I mean you know what you're getting with it. But I think it added some different elements. It wasn't as bass heavy, from what I could tell. It had a lighter kind of feel to it. I mean, with the Halloween theme, you get the dung, like just the heavy bass coming at you, and it really didn't feel that way with this one. So that's what really stuck out to me as far as the theme goes. I mean, I'm assuming that's what we're going to hear when they do the opening credits. And yeah, I mean, I just hope we get the pumpkin and they're zooming out from the pumpkin.
Yeah, I was just gonna say what's gonna happen there. A lot of people that I know didn't like the Halloween Kills opening, which was many pumpkins. But
I mean, they changed it up a bit.
I liked it. Actually, I didn't even kind of like it. I actually really liked it. But
yeah, you keep the same idea, but you change it up. I'm cool with that.
We get the. I mean, we've heard more different versions of this in the fucking Macarena. So like, yeah, like,
exactly.
They're the same and they're different. But we've heard it with a cello, we've heard it with a guitar, we've heard it with synth, we've heard it with. But I thought it was good. I think it'll be fun. I think the opening will be good. It's not really different. I wish I could say it was like groundbreaking and so different. But it's just a different iteration of the same song you've heard, and it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, and the Halloween theme doesn't make me grab my ass like the Macarena, so 5 stars.
Do you do it every single time you hear the Macarena?
Sometimes. There was a real embarrassing time at Walmart, but we won't get into that.
I'd imagine you're very embarrassing every time you go to Walmart.
It wasn't my ass I was grabbing.
Tackling children over for a Kevin Nash action figure.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So that's our review of the opening theme. You can hear it tomorrow. I believe it's supposed to be released. I don't know what time, but it should be released tomorrow. You'll be able to hear it if you really can't wait. It's out there. It's available. It's possible to hear it. Whatever. And now we're going to talk about wrestling. So I'm sorry. I apologize, everyone else. It's just
the sport of kings.
This show's numbers are going to crash quicker than Rashad Penny.
Ha!
I made that joke for specifically people watching.
This show's worth 5 first-round picks.
I know. He's not worth a first. I don't care. Like I know Ty's not in the chat, but he's not worth a first. He'll never be worth a first. Fuck you.
He's worth like a second, late second.
Don't worry, I still love you, Ty. Let's get into AEW Dynamite with the amount of time we got left, because we just watched it. It was really awesome. There's very many things to touch on, and then we're going to go into All Out and what we think. What do we think about that's going to go? I would like to start out talking about the dueling sort of interviews that we got, because we got a Moxley, we got a Punk, we got a Moxley. It was definitely, like, to me, it was a tie. I don't know what I liked better. I really loved Punk's. So I really loved Moxley's. I really loved Punk's. And then I really loved Moxley coming back out there again and being like, no, I'm not a Punk. Well, no pun intended. But I feel like Punk's might have been the best of them, but Moxley's just fucking always on. I don't know what you think. You can go into detail on them, but tell me who won today, because it's a tie to me. Did someone win?
I don't know. So Moxley's promo at the start was phenomenal, because there was really no end to it. It was left open-ended for a reason. And so then an hour later, Ace Steel comes out, grabs the contract, and then Punk comes out and gets into his promo. And I really, really liked the entire, like, you know what, maybe I can't do this. I'm in my hometown. This is where I started, and I don't know if my foot's 100%. And I loved his reference to the surgically repaired foot being a different 100% than a normal functioning foot, right? So there was that, and then just Ace Steel just, getting all up on Punk and being like, no, you are CM Punk. You need to remember who the fuck you are, which was caught on camera. And then something just finally, turned on with Punk, and it's like, okay, you know what? No, I can beat Moxley because I am 100%. He just, he got lucky, essentially. Punk didn't know how to work with the foot. And I liked him going out into the crowd and just really hammering home that, like, the pay-per-view's in Chicago. This is Punk's hometown. He came back a year ago, and yeah, he won the title, but then everything got fucked up. So now he's on like this second redemption tour in a way, because he came back too early and it screwed him. So now he has to do something different to beat Moxley. And so now I think, and then the cool part was I didn't think Mox was coming back out, right? You'd figure, okay, Punk signs it, makes the match, and we're good to go. And then all of a sudden Moxley comes out and he's like, okay, we're doing this? Okay, you're going to get, a worse ass whooping than you did last week in Cleveland. And I'm going to do it in Chicago in front of all your friends and family. And okay. So I liked it. My only concern with the whole concept was actually two parts about this whole thing. First, Punk's promo was so good that it needed like 3 weeks of build to really hit home. It felt like, okay, have Punk lose the belt, I know the injury and whatnot, but if Punk were to get hurt and lose the title like a month ago, then we can slowly see Punk's redemption and kind of spread it out a bit. And then when we get this promo, it's like, okay, we've seen what Punk's gone through. Because really, all we've seen is Punk go through shit for a week based on losing the title. So that's my one gripe with it, which is not a big gripe, really. I mean, the segment was fantastic. And I'm glad Ace Steel got on national television for something other than, I guess, portraying Donald Trump he did in WWE, like, I don't know, 10 years ago. So thumbs up for Ace Steel. And the other thing I noticed about this, this whole, the three promos, it really reminded me of the Bret Austin, the story from Raw where Bret hurt his knee. Because the show started with the Austin promo. Bret didn't come out. Austin came out an hour later. Bret came out. They got in the fight. Bret gets hurt. They do the ambulance angle. Austin comes out at the end. Shawn chases off Bulldog and Owen, and then you get the Pillman debut. So it was just this entire story arc within 2 hours. And that's kind of the feeling I got from this angle, where I legit thought Punk was going to find Moxley in the crowd, and they were just going to go. Because he was walking over in that direction. And I was like,
yeah, it did look like he was kind of like walking out there being like, I know where to find you. Like, I know where you'll be. Is this where you come out? Is this where you normally come? And like, yeah, it was like, that was pretty hype. And you know what was a major missed opportunity? That guy with the glasses was sitting beside him. When he got to sign a contract, like, that guy should have been like, fucking sign it on my back. If he would have fucking signed it right on that dude's back, and what the fuck, dude with glasses? Whatever dude with glasses was thinking, it wasn't fucking about TV. He was thinking about, he was fucking selfish. He was thinking about himself.
Yeah, and Punk going off on that one guy in the crowd, like at the start of the promo, it was like, oh shit.
Yeah. Well, that was like a little tease at being heel, but then didn't do it.
And yeah, and then he's like, oh, maybe I probably shouldn't do that, because if he's winning the title on Sunday, I don't think they'll do an Austin where he turns heel winning the title in his hometown.
Well, so I thought they were going to do something like that, and that's how they were going to sell this match. But
yeah,
here's the thing, like, what they did really like raised up both guys. Like, this is going to be to me, this is going to be a feud where both guys come out looking pretty shiny. So, like, it doesn't really, like, either guy can win now. I still think it probably should be Punk based on this, but like, it made both guys look good. It legitimized Moxley's second run. I mean, even though short, he now won the actual title. So it's not going to go in the record books as a, there was that interim one. Do we count that? So he actually gets a second one, which is great because we know building up AEW's titles, like they're doing long title runs, but at the same time, you do want guys, when you get, 3-4 years in there, when you get 5 years total in there, you want guys who have been 5-time champion, right? You want to be able to, the next time Moxley has to take a break for whatever reason to make a movie, I'm not saying he's going to fall off the wagon again, but like, for whatever else he has to take time off of, maybe as a kid or something, he can come back and step in, and after being gone for 4 months, and it can be like the 4-time champion John Moxley, the most decorated whatever. Like, you do need those guys who have multiple reigns, and the way to get it is kind of get some of these short ones in there in between the long ones.
I mean,
otherwise,
Flair's got quite a few short ones on his road to 16. Yeah. So
and nobody gives a shit about that, right? Like,
everyone's like, he won it
16 times. Nobody's like, sometimes people are like, well, that means he lost it 16 times. But like the record books and the people that, his fans, and he can go out there and say it. No wrestler even says it to him. So, I mean, he did it over a long span of time as well. So,
yeah, exactly.
It stands up for itself, but.
Yeah, and Moxley can drop the belt, and it's fine, and Punk will get his reign like intended, but this is a real good side story to deal with Punk's injury, and then we get this heavy angle where these two guys are going to try and kill each other in Chicago, and now we get the real match. Like, we only got a little teaser of it, and I think that was smart about the booking last week, because, yeah, you can have Punk lose the title, but you didn't give away the match. We're still paying on Sunday to see the full John Moxley CM Punk title match. We got 3 minutes of it. So we're going to get, probably 25 minutes of these two guys beating the shit out of each other.
Yeah, I know. Here's the thing. Like, I always come on here and I'm like, God damn it, I'm going to sound like an AEW mark. And God damn it, I am. Every time, like, I enjoy almost everything they do. There's some things I don't enjoy. Like, I'm not a big fan of every wrestler they have. Sometimes they sign guys that I don't like, and please don't sign Aussie Open, because I'm fucking had enough of them already. God damn it.
Not a fan of those two guys, huh?
Before we get to that, I just want to do a quick roll call. Whenever a host, like, do a little roll call here. So, Linton Jonas is here. Melissa's here. Chan's here. Solid Saturn's in the house. Justin Smith is here. He's got a good question, so I'll get to that soon. And let me just check. Anyone else here?
Zach was here for a minute.
Yeah, Zach was here. Well, he's not Zach. He's the mayor of North America Hip Hop. Get it right.
I'm sorry.
Pencil neck geek.
I gotta get my my street cred back with my North American hip hop crew.
Exactly. Justin Smith says, "Do you think MJF shows up at All
Out?" This is a tough question, because only because Tony Khan on Busted Open Radio this morning, I believe it was, said after All Out, AEW is going to have the best and strongest roster in wrestling, implying that, okay, they don't have it yet. And I don't think he makes that tweet because W. Morrissey debuted. I mean, is he a great pickup? Absolutely. Did I love him beating the shit out of those guys? It was perfect. Did I love him punking Tony Schiavone? Yes. But I don't think he's the guy you make that statement for. So either A, Zach, it's MJF, not MF. I think they either have a signing coming on Sunday that we don't know about, or MJF comes back. So I think it's one of the two, or both.
I think it's going to be both, but I think it's definitely going to be a signing. Like, I don't think it could be only MJF, because I think most people assume that we're being worked with this MJF stuff. I think like it's weird, because when you get with AEW, you get a lot of the smart marks, so you got to be really, you got to wake up real early on Sunday to trick those guys.
Know your audience.
because they've been worked so many times. They're the people who have been on the internet be like, oh, I got fucked over. So they're a little bit more wise. And of course, sometimes the smart marks are kind of annoying, but you gotta work a little bit harder to get them. I do want to, it's funny, when we said we are going to talk here, I was like, I really want to talk about them setting up the Omega and Ospreay match. Because last week we got Ospreay in the trios match, and them setting up the trios match. And if you've followed Ospreay, he's been on social media constantly making fun of Kenny Omega. So I'm like,
well, he got the shirt made too for like a week, and Kenny got it taken down.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. They have real life heat, right?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I think they're walking the line. But yeah, I guess I feel like they have some shirt made about Kenny, and Kenny like put a cease and desist through. That was what they were referencing in the promo.
I feel like they got that kind of like workable heat where they're like, they don't like each other, but they know it's money.
Oh yeah,
and like
100%.
Lots of people there's lots of wrestlers that have that. Like I mean, because you hang out with wrestlers. Wrestlers are mostly assholes, like mostly. Like from the ones I've met, like even the nice ones, you're like, he's a pretty nice guy, but you're like, nice guy for a wrestler. A lot of them are just, and I feel like the reason why is that you have to be into yourself in order to promote yourself as a wrestler. Like I feel like it's part of the DNA is that you can't just be like a nice guy. Like even people, you think Daniel Bryan was a great guy, but like apparently he's just a fucking bully backstage sometimes.
Yep.
Like I feel like they're, I feel like they're lagging behind the times there, and they're kind of like still manly men playing jokes on each other and stuff like that. Anyways, I don't want to get too much into that, but so I feel like they have workable heat. They're like, yeah, I'm not really like, this guy's not the guy I'd hang out with on backstage, but we can make a lot of money. And for my, for what I think, like, that's the best wrestling match you can make right now. That's the only match that deserves fucking 78.5 stars. Like, is if Omega can get back to full and, to 100% and fight Will Ospreay, who is Kenny Omega 2 or Kenny Omega Plus, depending on who you're talking to.
Yeah. And I like the story they're telling with Kenny because the first match he was not 100% and showed it. He wore the shirt and he wasn't himself. He didn't have that confidence. And then tonight, Ospreay exposed why he's wearing the shirt because he's still beat up as fuck. And Omega got over on him and won the match. And so now, now we're kind of, okay, Omega's in the title match. Is he good enough to get the titles? He's 2 for 2. We'll see. So I like the idea of, Kenny being kind of the guy. Does he still have it? Because he's been gone 9 months and AEW's obviously changed since he left.
He certainly looked better than last week.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So it's almost like he's getting that Kenny Omega back.
I feel like after seeing him this week, I feel like last week there might have been a couple of like worked botches. Mm-hmm. Like he may have tripped on purpose and made it look really good because I was like, oh shit, oh my God, he's done. And this week he looked much, much better. Still played it up a little bit with how he was hurt. But like last week, he botched like 5 things. Like, and some of them looked like real botches, and some of them looked like, what's going on here? So I don't want to spend too much time on that, though. Just something to throw in there because I do really want to get into what's going to happen at All Out. And I'm going to bring up, so other than the title match, my actually like most anticipated match is Jungle Boy and Christian. And it's weird because like the match will probably be all right. I mean, Christian knows how to wrestle and Jungle Boy is a good wrestler, but like that story's been great. Christian's fucking he's proven, like he's out there proving why he makes money. He's like, well, why have I been, why did I come to Impact and then go back to WWE and then whatever? And they're like, why are people taking me? Because I can create like watchable segments like whenever I want. And like sometimes he does it with getting like really dark heat and like, he has done recently, but like he's also just good. Like he's just good at talking. Like when I saw him in the interview tonight, like I was like, he's such a believable guy the way he is. Like he's really believable as being a good guy, but he's really, really believable at being an asshole. Like really believable. And it's like, honestly, I feel like, people who said, they're just like, they shouldn't be picking up the Matt Hardys and the Christian Cages. Like he's showing to those people, like, this is why they hired me. Like I can still do this. Like I could still create a good program and probably a decent wrestling match.
Yeah, I think that match I don't think we're going to get much of a match out of it. Only because it doesn't need to be a 15-minute back and forth match where, there's lots of kickouts or, Jungle Boy hits his finish and Christian's out at 2 or whatever. Like it's not that kind of story. This story needs Jungle Boy trying to wrap Christian's arm in a steel chair within the first 45 seconds and trying to kill the man. That's the story. Like, I don't want to see a lockup in this match. It doesn't fit. I want to see these two guys try to kill each other, or at least Jungle Boy try to kill Christian. Christian can just run. Christian can spend 45 seconds running away at first. It's not that kind of story. And you're right about Christian being whatever character Christian has to play, he knows it and plays it perfectly. And that's on top of him being a great wrestler. But I mean, he's 50-ish, somewhere around 50 now, I'd imagine.
Yeah, I think it was 47 when I checked last, so probably 48 now.
Yeah, so he doesn't need to be doing 20-minute matches. He can get by on telling great stories. And that's the sign of a veteran who knows his strengths. He's a great promo. He gets you into the building with those promos, and then he doesn't need to. His body doesn't need to take the punishment. How many matches do you think he's wrestled since he main evented All Out last year?
I think like 3. I think he's wrestled 4 for like AEW, like period.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I mean it's well, that actually segues really quickly into what I want to talk about next too. Which is losing my voice. Jericho is the same way. So I mean, we'll talk about that match right after. But I feel like Christian, like he doesn't even need to have the match. It could be snippets throughout the show where he's running away saying, "I don't want to have a match anymore," and and Jungle Boy just catches up and beats the shit out of him every once in a while. Like it doesn't matter. It doesn't need to be a great match. It could be a great story. And I feel like Jericho still has some great matches left in him too, but he's being like, you know what? I'll do a great match like once every 2 months, and then I'll do lots of gimmick stuff in between. Like he's like kind of like he's kind of like what do they call that in basketball where they're being like they give people guard. Days off.
No.
I shouldn't have brought up the bouncy ball. I know.
Yeah, I'm not too good with that.
Sorry, load management or whatever they always say like NBA players like, oh, they take a game off every 10 or whatever because it's load management. And I feel like that's what Jericho does is he's like
Adrian does the same thing.
God damn it. This is why you can't be host. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Justin Smith says Captain Insano debuts at All Out. That's a possibility.
Yeah, they got the rights to that character recently, didn't they?
They did, and we know that they said they created the tights and everything, from what I've heard. Yeah, I feel like Jericho. He's smart enough to be like, I'll do. every once in a while I'll have a match where I do the lion salt again. I fucking take some bumps outside and whatever. It's like, and then I will work some trio matches and those sorts of things and gimmick stuff and something where someone comes in and interferes for me. You know, when he was tagging with Hager for a while where he didn't have to do a lot, he saves himself and then he goes out there and has a great match again. So,
well, and that's the thing. Like, I think the story there is absolutely fascinating because it's kind of like the Wardlow story in a way, where the underling knows he's better than the guy up top, and he just doesn't get the opportunity to prove it. And the interesting part I noticed, so next week they have the pure title rematch on Dynamite. And I think Wheeler Yuta might drop the belt to Daniel Garcia because something's probably going to happen in the Jericho-Danielson match that turns Garcia babyface. At least that's where I think it might go.
Because Garcia's already turning, right? Like, there's nothing they can do. The train has already kind of left, so.
Yeah, and it's in his hometown. Thank you, Justin. So I think all the seeds are planted for Garcia to do the turn at the pay-per-view, join Blackpool Combat Club, maybe after the Yuta match. I don't know. But there's definitely something there, and it's a story that you can sink your teeth into because everyone is such a believable character. Jericho, I mean, he's sports entertainment guy. He's always been that.
I love that. I love how he never screws up. He says sports entertainer every time now.
Exactly. And Daniel Garcia, they planted the seeds for that before, Blackpool Combat Club even existed. Danielson said, I want Wheeler Yuta, Daniel Garcia, and there might have been somebody else. But
yeah.
And then Garcia, all of a sudden, he goes to the other side. Well, that doesn't fit him at all. So he's the guy where you can really sink into this story of, okay, we know he's a Danielson guy, but Jericho has put him in this position where, he's main eventing these shows. He's, the second in command in the Jericho Appreciation Society. So Jericho has given this platform to him, and Danielson almost knows the true him. So Garcia's torn between these two, and I loved the how Garcia took the chair away tonight and basically saying, like, no, Jericho, you have to beat him without any gimmicks or any bullshit. And then he turns around and Danielson nails him. And I love Danielson's cheeky grin every single time. We're just a little shit disturber.
It's because that's who he is in real life. Like, he really is.
Exactly, 100%. He's that little brother who gets what he wants every single time.
Talk to Ryback about how much he loves fucking Bryan Danielson.
Yeah, they wouldn't help Ryback order at Chipotle or whatever the fuck. Big bald baby.
There's a table for three or whatever with them that show on WWE.
Yeah.
And and he was like, it could be work, but like he seemed legitimately like pissed off at Daniel Bryan at the time, and Danielson just kept lighting him up with jokes the whole time, like just being like, dude, this guy doesn't wash his hands after he goes poo. And it was just like fucking Ryback was just like, what the fuck? Like, I remember it's just a whole bunch of weird like stuff like that, and being like, like stuff that you would say about people that you like from now on, people are gonna have that in their heads. It was like hilarious. I thought about it forever.
Yep.
It's funny because like Justin Smith brings up, Jericho Appreciation Society needs to go away. I actually think that Jericho is once again, like, I feel like it's not as good as the first time around with the Inner Circle. That was amazing, like, and really elevated all of those wrestlers except Hager, who is still just Hager. And I actually quite like Hager, so it's okay.
Yeah, he's another guy who's good in his role as long as he stays within it. I mean,
if he's the faithful bodyguard for Jericho forever, that'll be fine for him.
And if he wrestles
like,
Danielson the rest of his career, because
it
doesn't get better than wrestling Danielson.
I really liked actually when he had a like shoot MMA match with Wardlow.
Okay, yep.
I actually kind of liked that, and it was memorable. His match with Moxley was good too. They went out into the crowd quite a bit when Moxley was
smoke and
titling.
mirrors. I mean,
like they were memorable to me. So
yep.
And I don't remember shit. So he's good in his role, and I liked him in WWE as well.
I like
But
Jericho pointing out that Hager beat him for the world title. That was a nice little callback.
Yeah, this is true. Yeah, and well, what I was gonna bring up was like, to me, 2.0 is they're okay. The guy with the square head is much better than the other guy. I can't remember their goddamn names though, so they can't be that good.
Daddy Magic and Cool Hand. There we go.
Yeah,
I've been watching those guys for like 17 years. They're fantastic.
They're okay. They can go to ROH for me.
Playoff beard.
It's like, not, you know what? You guys don't have to go away. Just be on ROH or something like that. Like, I'll watch you there. Like, that's okay. It's honestly, it's kind of how I feel about the Best Friends too. So once again, like, they're okay, but like they're okay. That's what they are. They're okay. And AEW has lots of fantastic. So okay doesn't cut it. It's not like they're WWE for a long time where they had 3 good teams and then some other guys to feed them. AEW has like 8 good teams. So we don't really need the filler teams.
The shuffle.
Which is AEW's biggest problem, but also it's not a bad problem to have too many good acts.
Exactly. Santana and Ortiz kind of are the prime example of a great team just getting lost in the shuffle, and by no fault of their own, just there was no spot for them.
Well, if Ortiz started doing the Tiger Claw again, then they'd be fucking over like tomorrow.
Yep. Too busy putting Tiger Bomb on his balls.
God damn it! This goddamn COVID
like Vince by the end of the episode.
Well, since I can't talk anymore, why don't you tell us about whatever match we haven't talked about and why it's going to be awesome?
Well, first, Justin mentioned Thunder Rosa's injury. Okay, so it is legit, but she did not want to put over Toni Storm at the pay-per-view, which was reported, and that is why she kind of did the whole, I'm going to lose my smile and go home for a bit. Well, you're still going to have to come back with the title and put over whoever they tell you to. And I think there is a legit injury there, not to downplay it. And I think it gave her a way out rather than working through it to get to the pay-per-view and put over Toni Storm. And then you take time off because you're hurt. That's, what you should do. But as far as matches on the pay-per-view that I'm looking forward to. Oh, I know one you're looking forward to. Eddie Kingston and Tomohiro Ishii. That is going to be 2 big dudes beating the piss out of each other. And I hope they go like 15 minutes.
I feel like this is the perfect opponent for him in North America, though. So.
Oh, yeah. Did you see their match in New Japan Strong?
I did not. Is that on the Drive?
It is on the Drive.
Oh, interesting. So you're saying if I was subscribed to the Drive, then I could watch it before All Out?
You absolutely could. I have a Google Drive for $10 a month. All sorts of wrestling on it. And interviews with wrestlers too.
See, I'm still good at segues.
You absolutely are. Okay. What do you think about the ladder match? Who do you think the Joker is going to be? Do you think that's where they slot MJF in, or is that where they slot in the signed guy? Because the winner gets a title shot, right?
Yeah. It's hard. That one's so hard because they did nothing with the last guy. Like the last one to win it was Scorpio, right?
Yes. Was it
Or
Scorpio or was it Leo?
Oh, no.
No, Leo Rush won the Battle Royal. Scorpio. Yeah, it might have been Scorpio.
Ethan Page was one of them. Was in one of those matches, right? Or he was a
Yeah.
surprise guy.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
I remember there was one where it was like there was a Cody and Pentagon sort of feud going on into it, but I feel like they just haven't made that match relevant yet.
Right.
Like no one's like really made something out of that match and then made a big push to the title with it. I think it's been challengers for minor titles and stuff like that, from what I remember.
So yeah, last year they didn't do the ladder match; they did the Battle Royal, and that was where Ruby Soho debuted.
Okay, fair enough.
So this is taking the place of the Battle Royal. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, the ladder match will be absolutely insane, judging by who's in it.
Yeah. No, it's funny. I was watching this show with my wife because, of course, she has COVID too. So we've been just like.
I'm sure she was thrilled to watch Dynamite with you.
You know what?
Yay, wrestling!
She didn't hate it so much as normal, but mostly because she didn't have a voice to complain about it.
That's true.
But you know, we were watching the match when Phoenix came out and they had that 4-man type of match, and I was like, you know what, this will probably be a fun match for you to watch because you know Phoenix and Dante Martin are going to jump all over the place and do crazy stuff. And there was a few times when,
nope.
Yeah, there was a few times when she was like, "Oh, that was cool," and I was like, "Yeah, it's kind of like a Cirque du Soleil type of thing, you know, with those guys. Like you might not like wrestling, but you're gonna be like, what the hell was that?" So
okay, so that dive that Will Ospreay did off the corner, Omega made the most perfect catch I've seen like all year. That was so great.
I saw that. Honestly, like I could do a whole show on the build up to Ospreay and Omega. Like, I mean, we're not getting it this weekend, but it's a good thing we're not getting it this weekend. I think Kenny needs probably a little longer. But if they build that up for a while, like that could be, like I said, that's one of those matches where like I criticize Dave Meltzer all the time for, you know, going beyond 5 and 6 and 7 and 7.5 and 8 stars and like doing all that. But you know, it definitely could be the match that's like the greatest of all time and get that fucking 10-star or whatever.
Yep.
And just, you know, like that. Those are the two guys. If you can get that in North America, and they're gonna have to tell a good story. Like, Ospreay's gotten better at being an interesting character because when I first was introduced to him, he was the same as Kenny. He was the same as Kenny in that respect too, where it was like, yeah, but he's not really that interesting, and they've both worked on it since being on American television, and I feel like Ospreay could probably do it now.
Ospreay forming the United Empire and really going into this heel turn in the past year, about a year, really helped develop him as more than just a guy who does cool flips or, you know, he's not a one-trick pony anymore. You know, he can get heat. He can cut promos. He can, I mean, his promos are hit and miss, but whatever.
Yeah.
But like he's much more rounded of a guy than he was previously. He's not going to be pigeonholed into just this, you know, this is all he does and he's not going to get any better than that.
Yeah.
So now he's got the US title and, you know, he's got the United Empire guys with him. I think there's like 6 of them now. So, you know, he's got direction. And I think that was important for his character to really hammer home, hey, I'm a lot more than the guy doing flips with Ricochet with it, you know, makes Jim Cornette have a hernia.
Yeah. Oh my God. Jim Cornette. Oh my God. You can bring him up every time and I'll laugh every single time. That guy's just fucking Yep. It's funny. He's right every once in a while, which is funny. But then like he's like that guy who's like, you know, you talk to some people and they're like, so you know, so and so this and that, and you're like, oh yeah, this guy's a smart guy, and then they go on and on. You're like, oh shit, no, he just one of those guys who sounds kind of smart. He's actually a moron. Like,
he knows the big words, and you slowly realize it. You're like, oh god,
yeah, like,
yeah, I gotta get out of here.
oh
Yeah.
crap! I put myself in the wrong conversation. All right, I'm going to we're going to end it off really quickly. I just want to do some rapid fire. So I want to know, you're just going to quickly give me your first impression of who you think is going to win these matches. So,
all right,
who's going to win the Kingston Ishii match?
Kingston.
Yeah, makes sense. Who's going to win the Pac and
Kip Sabian.
Kip Sabian match? Yeah.
Pac. Although I would not be surprised if Sabian wins the belt. It feels like he's getting a push.
Yeah, it does feel like. Why would they give him the new look if they were going to do that? Okay, interesting.
Exactly.
Who do you think is going to win the trios titles?
I think the Elite are going to win the belts, but I do think there's going to be some kind of Hangman story here where, does Hangman turn on the Dark Order? Does Hangman forgive Omega? I don't know. There's a lot of kind of roads they can go with that, but
could be a little fucky there.
Exactly.
Yeah, I get that. That makes sense. I think that I said in the chat, like, I think this tournament has always been built for the Super Elite. Like when we heard about trios titles like 8 months ago, like I was like, Super Elite first. Yeah. Why?
Yeah.
Why else?
And if he wasn't back, it was probably going to be Adam Cole and Red Dragon anyways. So
yeah, that's true. And they were putting people over, like, for the longest time, Omega started putting people over, and the Bucks were putting everyone over. So I was like, that's because we're going to get trios titles, and then they're going to get a reign with them, and that puts the shine right back on them.
Yep.
Makes sense. Jericho Danielson.
If they're turning Garcia babyface, then Danielson. I think Jericho will try and cheat. Garcia will thwart his plans, and then Danielson will win. We'll get the big handshake. Yay. And away we go.
I honestly think it's too obvious, and I think Jericho's going to win.
Yeah.
I feel like the story
it feels obvious. Like that's the plan that should happen, and I don't know if they're going to do it entirely.
Yeah. Like I mean, maybe Garcia just fucks him over and fucks Danielson over, and then we get a new type of character rather than him just turn babyface and be a wrestling machine babyface guy. Like, he could be interesting. I don't know. What else do we? Who's gonna win Cage and Jungle Boy?
If they keep it going, I'd say Christian goes over. Probably, outsmarts an angry Jungle Boy who, makes one mistake and then Christian catches him.
Who's going to win the women's title? And if you say anything but Jamie Hayter, then I'm going to be disappointed.
Man, do you see Jamie Hayter tonight?
I see her every time she's on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I rewind it. She's not only is she a fantastic wrestler, a good character, and
one big thing I was a fan of tonight was the matching tag team gimmicks. They all got matching gimmicks for their team, so that was really cool.
You know what's funny? We're like 3 minutes into the match before I realized it was Sheeta. Like I was like, I think she did a move, and I was like, oh, that's Sheeta. Like, and I really like her too. She was my favorite of the original AEW women. Kind of. That started off. It's like she was my favorite of all.
I feel so bad for her because they've just been so start and stop with her that I don't know.
I mean, kind of, but she didn't get screwed over the same way that Rio did. Like I don't think Rio's pissed about it, but like Rio,
I really liked the Serena Deeb stuff though. That was all right.
Yeah. Oh, and I wish she should be in this match too. Like she should get a reign.
Agreed.
She's pretty awesome. She's like a female Kurt Angle. Like,
yeah.
Love it.
I do think Toni Storm is winning the belt just because they're probably not going to change plans just because Thunder Rosa,
just because
Thunder
Rosa's having a hissy fit. And the last match, who's going to win? Who's going to win the title?
I think Punk is going to win the belt back because I mean, the cool thing about Moxley's reign is he defended the title practically every week for a good 2 months almost. So he's really gone through a lot of the heel roster. You know, Jericho, Brody King, there's probably other guys I'm missing out, but like, so there's more legs on a Punk reign because he defended against Moxley and that was it. So,
Yeah.
and now with Punk healthy, we're going to get the reign that probably should have started in June. And it sucks because like Moxley's on such a great reign that it feels unfair for him to lose it in what, 2.5 months. But
I mean, here's the thing though. He doesn't need the title. I don't think he needs it. It doesn't matter. I think
yeah,
because especially because of his character, he's like the guy you fight in a bar. You could be like, dude, I
Yeah.
beat you up last week, and the guy's still gonna fucking break a bottle and be like, yeah, well, let's have a rematch. Like, you know, it doesn't matter.
exactly,
Like,
right?
he's, you know, Wolverine lost plenty of matches in comic books, and he fucking was still a badass. He still sells comic books, and
Yep.
you know, it doesn't matter. Like it really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Actually, Justin brings up a really great point quickly. Motor City Machine Guns, awesome to see them there. Like, absolutely loved
Big
them for a
fan.
long
Big
time.
fan.
Yeah,
I
right.
was
And
so
they were
happy.
doing the fast-paced tag team wrestling way before it was like as popular as it is now. Like they were
Yeah,
doing
although I'm
the
kind of disappointed. Like they didn't debut during the Game of Thrones week
yeah, that's true. That would have made some sense.
because then it would have been the Motor City Machine Guns.
Oh my god. Okay, we're done. We're done. See you later, guys.
I'm watching
we're
Clash
done.
of the Castle. I hope Drew gets the belt.
We could talk about Clash of the Castle, but we're out of time. So, you know, whatever. I am going to watch Clash of the Castle.
We're going to do like a 4-hour recap show on Monday because there's so much stuff going on this weekend.
All right. So we already promoted this, but guys,
Yes.
we're here for Dark Match Drive. We're doing a show specifically to promote this. It has a metric fuck ton of wrestling on it. It is amazing. I have it. I think it's great. You can join the Facebook group Dark Match Drive. You'll see all of your familiar friends here, and you could just subscribe to the Facebook group too. That does not cost you money to do that. It's fucking amazing. It gets very informative and funny. And if you want to, then you can get more information there about subscribing to a Google Drive that has just an amazing amount of wrestling on it. So,
yeah, it's great. I mean, the Facebook page is up to 108 members, so I am thrilled about that.
Exactly.
Plenty of content on the Facebook page every day, news, discussion, memes, information, anything wrestling. It goes up there. I spend a ridiculous amount of time making posts. I mean, our pinned post right now is Woo Wings. So Ric Flair trying to sell you some really shitty wings. It's a great time. So join the Facebook page.
Like 800 times.
He literally has. I tag him in it like every 4 days. It's great.
So yeah, that's gonna be it for us tonight. September 4th, Rick and Morty show is coming back. Hopefully, I'll have a voice by then. Toughed it out for you guys, so I hope you guys enjoyed the show despite my fucky voice there. I had a little bit, but whatever. What can you do? Yeah, I'll see you later. We'll meet again soon. And as Kenny would say,
Mr. Meeseeks to fix your voice.
As Kenny would say, I bid you adieu.